Welcome to the Chuck Kyle Show. Today's episode is titled Operation True Height. Flannery O'Connor, though attribution is always debatable, once said, "The truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it." That about sets the tone. So today, exaggeration has long been a cornerstone of Donald Trump's public persona and political strategy. From the moment he sent Sean Spicer out to defend blatantly inflated claims about his inauguration crowd size, Trump has made it clear that perception trumps reality, especially when it comes to his own. Whether it's declaring himself the most intelligent, the fittest, or the most knowledgeable, his narrative must always place him above others. This extends to policy, where his self-proclaimed gut instinct routinely trumps expert consensus, as seen in his recent tariff decisions. Nowhere is this more comically and telling revealed than in the actual presidential medical exam, which recently he claimed he stands at 6 foot 3 inches tall and weighs just 224 pounds. The intel brief aims to assess these claims with precision, professionalism, and a touch of much-needed reality. So let's look at the methodology behind the assessment. Using meticulous imagery intelligence, IMINT, methods, open-source photography, and known reference individuals and standardized objects, this analysis seeks to accurately assess the actual height and weight of Donald J. Trump. Official medical records are disregarded due to questionable authenticity. Other public records have also made their claims, though these too merit scrutiny. Fulton County jail booking records from August of 2023 will also be disregarded, as these were self-reported. Trump was listed at 6 foot 3 inches tall and 215 pounds. This weight marks a significant decrease from the number listed on his final physical report from the White House. During his 2020 annual physical, Trump weighed in at 244 pounds. Here's a bit about the analyst behind the assessment, me. The analyst conducting this assessment has spent 30 years as an intelligence officer, specializing in strategic intelligence and imagery analysis, followed by over a decade working as a professional nutritionist and technologist utilizing DEXA technology. The analyst has conducted thousands of detailed body composition analysis, provided a unique expertise from assessing physical dimensions from imagery. To assess Trump's height with precision, we compared him to a range of well-documented public figures. Among those were Prince William, Gavin Newsom, and NFL quarterback Kirk Cousins, all standing at 6 foot 3. Former governors and heads of state like Mitt Romney and Justin Trudeau are slightly shorter at 6 foot 2. Elon Musk splits the difference at 6 foot 1.5 inches, while Barack Obama and Tiger Woods both came in at a solid 6 foot 1. Joe Biden measures 6 foot even, followed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 5 foot 9. At the shorter end of the lineup, Vladimir Putin and Emmanuel Macron both stand at 5 foot 7. In addition to these human benchmarks, we also use standardized physical references, including the Air Force One staircase with 7-inch risers, a 47-inch presidential podium, the standard U.S. door frame height of 80 inches, and a typical 37-inch length of a men's 7-iron golf club. Imagery and object analysis included multiple photos of Trump standing beside these individuals, and standardized objects were analyzed. Trump's posture, camera angles, foot lifts, and comparative scaling against standard objects were considered. Footwear analysis clearly reveals that Trump regularly wears shoes with substantial heels, approximately 1.5 to 2 inches. Now let's talk about the numbers, because when we stack Trump next to the actual tall guys, things start to shrink fast. Across a wide range of visual comparisons, a consistent pattern emerges. Trump does not measure up to the height he claims. Standing beside 6 foot 3 figures like Gavin Newsom and Prince William, he appears roughly about 1 inch to 1.5 inches shorter. Next to 6 foot 2 individuals such as Justin Trudeau and Mitt Romney, the gap remains evident, with Trump coming in at least 1 inch shy. Against Barack Obama and Tiger Woods, both listed as 6 foot 1, Trump seems to match height, placing him more realistically in the 6 foot to 6 foot 1 range. When seen near Joe Biden, who is 6 foot tall, Trump appears only slightly taller by 1/2 of an inch at most. At the lower end of the scale, Trump clearly towers over Vladimir Putin and Emmanuel Macron, both of whom stand at 5'7". This supports a realistic estimate but does nothing to validate his 6'3" claim. Additional comparative analysis using standardized physical objects further undermines the official figure. When compared to a 7-inch riser on an Air Force One staircase and a 47-inch presidential podium, Trump's height fails to align with the claimed measurements. Similarly, using a standard 37-inch 7-iron golf club as reference, Trump's standing height aligns closely with about 2 golf club lengths, equating to roughly 74 inches, adjusted to approximately 72.5 to 73 inches when accounting for footwear and posture. Additional comparative evidence. On March 7th of 2025, a photograph taken during Kirk Cousins' visit to the White House with Donald Trump provides further clarity. Cousins, a professional football player, is officially listed at 6'3" and 210 pounds. In the image, Cousins is noticeably taller than Trump by at least 1.5 to 2 inches, despite both standing with similar postures and footwear that appears to offer no substantial height enhancement. Furthermore, Cousins, who is lean and athletic built, appears significantly slimmer, particularly in the midsection, even though Trump's most recent medical exam claims a weight of only 224 pounds. This one-on-one comparison in controlled indoor lighting, posture parity, and close physical proximity provides one of the clearest yet of Trump's height and weight claims. Here's the final takeaway from all the visual data. Adjusting for footwear enhancements, posture variations, and comparative scaling with standardized objects, Donald Trump's true barefoot height is most reliably estimated to be between 6 foot with a half an inch and 6 foot 1 inch. Let's break down what the visual data says about Trump's waist and weight. Comparative imagery analysis, informed by decades of professional nutritional and DEXA-based body composition expertise, strongly suggests Trump's waist circumference is to be approximately 48 to 50 inches. This substantial waist size aligns with a high-risk obesity category and strongly supports a significant underreporting of his publicly claimed weight of 225 pounds per the recent presidential medical exam. Given Trump's estimated height of approximately 6 foot and a half an inch, a waist circumference of this size typically corresponds to a weight range somewhere between 260 and 285 pounds. Publicly available images, particularly candid side profile and golf course photos, consistently depicts body dimensions consistent with this analysis. So here is how it all adds up. Despite continued claims of standing 6'3" and weighing approximately 224 pounds, according to recent presidential medical exams, Emmett Tradecraft, standardized object comparison, detailed waist circumference estimates, and expert imagery and analysis techniques strongly suggest that Trump inflates his height by approximately 2 to 3 inches and substantially underreports his weight. Donald J. Trump's actual height and weight are best assessed at roughly 6 feet and a half an inch and between 260 and 285 pounds, respectively. Here's one last professional note from the Analyst. This intel operation highlights the critical necessity of applying meticulous imagery analysis and verification techniques, even if seemingly trivial personal claims. Truth is vertical and horizontal measurements may seem minor, but integrity, much like accurate intelligence, is invaluable. Let me leave you with this closing reflection. All jokes aside, about Trump's obesity or whether he can remember person, woman, man, camera, TV from the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, this is ultimately about someone who struggles with truth. He rarely admits fault or defers to subject matter experts. As he once stated, "Only I can fix it." That mindset stands in stark contrast to presidents who sought expert counsel and evolved based on evidence, leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt or Barack Obama. So the questions remain. Does Trump really believe that China pays the tariffs, or is he just gaslighting the public? Do we really want a president whose nature prevents them from accepting the wisdom of their advisors? When I was on the Joint Staff, our core responsibility was to advise the president. the Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council on military matters and to ensure the readiness and capabilities of the U.S. Armed Forces. We provide the expertise for strategic planning, policy development, and operational decision-making. I want a president who asks the right questions, gathers information, and listens, not one who insists they already know. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe to The Chuck Kyle Show on Substack. You'll get all the new posts, videos, and voiceovers straight to your inbox, and it helps get the word out. Well, that's all for today's episode of The Chuck Kyle Show. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay tuned.